I remember pulling up my skirt in second grade and showing the boys my underpants. Hypersexualized at a young age. What is this due to? Was I molested? I think so. I can't remember specifics, but I do remember trauma. I remember not liking the Wolzak's house. I remember somewhat being sexualized with Caroline. I remember having sex with friends at a young age. Showers with my dad, probably, quote in parentheses, probably not appropriate. Being turned on when I wasn't supposed to be. I remember the Q-tips. I hated getting my ears clean. Beating my vagina due to overhearing parents having sex. What made me so attached? And these are bullet points. My mother not emotionally available. My father was, message, I couldn't get love from men, in underline. Quotes, I am not your mother. Blanket bead and take it away. Not letting myself go to the bathroom. Being wiped until too late. I don't know what that means. Being wiped until too late in the game. I could list all the reasons, but I can't seem to find the solution. And that's how that ends. And again, I forgot to mention this before. Yes, of course it's possible that this could be a fake. However, Ashley Biden herself has come out and said that this is hers. That's embarrassing. That's hers. So it's pretty hard at that point when it's claimed by the person who supposedly wrote it. It's kind of hard to argue that, right? So, anyways, maybe she misremembered this. That's possible. But however, the evidence for this is just too concrete. I mean, and we're going to go through a couple more examples that I found while reading this. But having sex with your child, or not having, probably having sex, but like having showers with your child just is not, I mean, even if he didn't necessarily have sex, I mean, this is the problem, is like when we find these behaviors in people who are, in media or politics or whatever, right? Like people just find like we'll find the ways to justify this, or to like just ignore the probability that there's beyond the evidence that we have, right? There's probably more activity that's happening. Someone who's willing to have showers with their daughter at a young age when it's how she recounts as being inappropriate, that's not okay. Again, not someone who should be a member of society, let alone president of the United States. Also, there were just kind of other parts just with their dad, minor details. There was a whole list of people in her life, and she described her father as the resentment that she had towards her father was due to money and control. Also another theme of an abuser, right? Like, and this is a whole thing that's kind of throughout her diary, is like she has resentment for her parents, but then she also, kind of depends on them and has love for them. Something when you're in like a deep political family, right, and there's a lot of money involved, it's so easy for that to be just like a negative festering relationship, right? Having my own family connections of people that are kind of in the head, we're involved in a political sphere, or still are involved in a political sphere in a sense, not to this proportions, but even on a surface level, I can understand like the like she said, like in the list, like money and the control. And then it's interesting that she resents the mother for just the dad, which that kind of could allude something to, right? Like maybe there's something that was inappropriate that her mother just didn't really do anything about. Okay, and then this was later on. This was her. She was going, besides being a sex addict, she's clearly hooked on, I think, cocaine, maybe other harder drugs. I don't know. So this she was describing kind of just like going through all these urges, reaching out to family, etc. My dad talked, I can't recognize that. My dad talked on the phone saying that he has the debate in a week and quote unquote now has to worry about you. Just very like flippant and very just shitty. That was more just like a revealing of his character, right? Like this man who potentially abused his child, The child who is now having problems with drugs and all this, like, probably due to him, right? Like, now he's just saying, like, fuck you, basically. Again, just not good behavior. And then this is just a list where she kind of lists out her trauma. And under the list of trauma is, or, the bullet points that are under the category of trauma are bullying, dad younger, health. That's very vague, but, you could infer something from that. Rape and sexual encounters is on there as well as verbal abuse. So just there's a lot of different things, right? And I kind of just wanted to, I know that might have been long going through all that, but like I really wanted to list that all out because even like the people who I would expect would be completely on this, like be like, harking, and maybe there's something I'm missing, right? Like maybe there's some glaring thing that I'm making an ass out of myself once again, and maybe this information isn't correct for some reason. I mean, if that's the case, let me know in the comments, right? But there's something about this that I had always suspected that this was legitimate. We didn't have the evidence. We now have the evidence years later. We're in an election cycle. And I don't think, similarly to what happened during COVID, I don't think it's a surprise that this is happening right around the time that Biden's announcing that he's going to change the schedule of marijuana by 2 schedules. Not even to the bottom of the schedule part. I mean, he's taking it from the top to the middle. Like, okay, but it's I don't know if this makes you feel like a crazy person, right? But there are things that just seem to happen right around the time that other things are revealed. If you're looking at things from a more whole perspective, where you're kind of looking at all these different avenues and angles, right? It just seems too perfect. It's like too perfect to be like, this is just a coincidence. Like it's like during COVID, right? When the Roe v. Wade stuff was announced, that was potentially going to get struck down, happened the same day that I think it was, what was the company? Pfizer's. When Pfizer's annual reports came out, revealing a lot of infant deaths, the same thing happened, where a bombshell of information dropped, and then something happens in the government right after that sends people into a it taps into people's morality and sends them in a place where they're like, oh, I'm either really supportive of this is awesome, or this is awful, we need to do something about this, because emotion trumps logic every time. That's why we have a government. That's why we have people who just do what they do, right? They're able to just live with emotion, live and die with emotion. Like, the logic doesn't matter. As long as you can appeal to people's hearts, as long as you can appeal to people's guts, they will rationalize in their head. Vote.